It's really great to see everybody on this beautiful, beautiful day in Washington, D.C. Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Terms that
Here we go.
If you don't mind, Mr. President,
Come on.
that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you? Your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
Well, that's true.
But
they weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. Right. These were people. This was an actual, it happened a few days ago. And
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his butt.
Well, I'm not
like
a big
the rest
fan
of
of yours either, so
I understand.
To be honest.
So let me ask you a question if I can. You repeatedly said...
You aren't the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly, over the course of the...
Okay, just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Mr. President, over the course of the last several days of the campaign, sir, at the end of the campaign, you repeatedly said that Americans need to fear. To be clear, though, the question,
Thank you very much.
why are you...
Sit down,
But you didn't answer my question. Just very simply, the question is, why are you pitting Americans against one another, sir?
I'm not.
Is that...
If it's Mr. President,
just wait.
If it's unfair to the country and it's costing millions of dollars, why don't you just
give him the mic,
end it?
please? I've answered the question. Okay. Go ahead, take the. Well, I'll give you I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. I'll give you voter suppression. Take a look at the CNN polls, how inaccurate they were. That's called voter suppression. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm not responding. I'm responding to, excuse me, I'm not responding to you. I'm talking to this gentleman. Would you please sit down? Excuse me, would you please sit down? Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now that the House of Representatives
Very hostile. It's such a hostile media. It's so sad. You asked me about, no, you rudely interrupted him. You rudely interrupted him. Go ahead.
The full soundbite
Thank you,
from
Mr.
Tim Russert
President.
you said to him was, I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion.
Correct.
But I'm very
Why didn't you
pro-choice.
read that? By the way, why didn't you read that before?
I pulled it up the
No, but why didn't you read that before? You didn't read, I hate the concept of abortion.
I'm reading it to you on my question.
Excuse me.
Are you a trustworthy
Excuse me, very trustworthy.
chameleon?
More so than you. Because you know what? You didn't read the question. See, when you quoted Tim Russert, you didn't read what you just said. Read it again.
I'll read it again. I'll read it now.
Go ahead.
I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion.
Okay, you didn't read. Why didn't you say, and when you asked the question before, that I hate the concept of abortion?
Because the question from the pro-life group can't be trusted.
You were quoting Tim Russert, and you were quoting, excuse me, you were quoting Tim and you were quoting me. Why didn't you read my quote the way I said it?
Sir, I tried to pull it up and I didn't have Wi-Fi.
Well, then you got to get Wi-Fi, okay? Don't ask me questions like that. You're not a very good reporter.
When you say the Americans were scared, though, I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Go ahead. I think it's a very nasty question, and I think it's a very bad signal that you're putting out to the American people. The American people are looking for answers, and they're looking for hope. And you're doing sensationalism, and the same with NBC and Comcast. I don't call it Comcast. I call it Concast. Let me just for whom you work. Let me just tell you something. That's really bad reporting. And you ought to get back to reporting instead of sensationalism. Let's see if it works. It might and it might not. I happen to feel good about it, but who knows? I've been right a lot. Let's see what happens.
Cohen betray you, Mr. President?
Thank you, everybody.
Mr. President,
Keep moving, guys. Let's go.
did Michael Cohen betray you?
Come on, y'all. Start moving, everybody.
Leaning towards tariffs on cars, sir?
Thank you, everybody.
Mr. President, are you worried about what Michael Cohen is
Come on,
going to
Caleb.
say to
Thank you.
prosecutors?
Thank you, Caleb. Let's keep going.
Are you worried about what is on the other tapes, Mr.
Keep going.
President?
Thank y'all. Let's keep going. Thank you, everybody.
Why has Vladimir Putin not accepted your invitation?
Keep going. Thanks,
Mr.
everybody.
President.
Thank you, everybody. Let's go. Come on, guys. Thank you very much.
Why has
keep
Vladimir
moving. Thank
Putin not
you,
accepted
everybody.
your
Keep moving.
invitation, Mr. President?
That's right. Thank you.
I have a question about something you said on Thursday, which is that you were angry because information about the virus should have been told to us earlier and a lot sooner. People knew it was happening and people did not want to talk about it. Many Americans are saying the exact same thing about you, that you should have warned them the virus was spreading like wildfire through the month of February instead of holding rallies with thousands of people. Why did you wait so long
Who are you
to
with?
warn them?
Who are you with?
And why did you
Yeah.
not have social distancing until March 16th?
Who are you with?
I'm Weijia Jiang with CBS News.
So, if you look at what I did in terms of cutting off or banning China from coming in,
Chinese nationals. But by the way, not Americans who are also
nice and
coming
easy,
from China.
nice and easy, just relax. We cut it off. People were amazed. These gentlemen, everybody was amazed that I did it. We had 21 people in a room. Everybody was against it but me. Dr. Fauci said, had I not done that, perhaps tens of thousands, and maybe much more than that, people would have died. I was very early, very, very early. And we just saw, you saw Brett Baer making a statement. They had a debate well into February, and not even mentioned, it wasn't even mentioned, the Democrats. We were very early. Oh, I'm the president. And you know what I just did? And you know what I just...
And by the way, when you issued the ban, the virus was already here.
Okay, and you know how many people, when I issued the ban, how many cases of virus were in the United States when I issued the ban? Do you know the number? No, how many cases? Remember I said one person. How many cases were here when I issued the ban? Tell
Did
me.
you know?
No,
it was going
you have to do
spread
your
and
research.
become a pandemic?
How many...
I did my research. On the 23rd of March, you said you knew this was going to be a pandemic.
Can I tell you what?
well
I did
before-
know it. I did know it. All I have to do is look.
So you knew it was going to
Anybody
spread.
knew it. Just, are you ready? How many cases were in the United States when I did my ban? How many people had died in the United States?
So do you acknowledge that you didn't think
Keep
it
your
was
voice
going
down,
to
please.
spread?
Keep your voice down.
Did you not
How
think it
many?
was going
How
to
many?
spread?
How many cases were in the United States? I did a ban where I'm closing up the entire country. How many people died?
And that's a fair point.
How many people died in the United States? And yet I closed up the country, and I believe there were no deaths, 0 deaths at the time I closed up the country. Nobody was there. And you should say thank you very much for good judgment. How many people had died in the United States?
So do you acknowledge that you didn't think
Keep
it
your
was
voice
going
down,
to
please.
spread?
Keep your voice down.